Mirroring the Landscape Project 3. In this project, it would be ideal if you could use a DSLR camera because we'll be looking at specifically aperture priority. The work that will be your research will be that of Guillaume Amat, a French photographer who in 2015 produced a series of beautifully constructed landscape photographs where he included a purpose-built mirror. The mirror itself shows the scene that is going on behind him, obviously, but he often creates really interesting narratives that are quite surreal and poetic. In the handout there is information on his website, so you can click on the link. There's also a film about how he made specifically the rape field image, and here is a clip from that. A world away in mid-Suffolk, I attempted for this project to create a very simple version of Amat's Open Fields project. I used a household mirror and 2 lighting stands. Camera focus in the middle of the screen, and I've put it on autofocus on my lens. Okay, image stabilizer off for tripod use. AF is autofocus, MF is manual focus. I'm going to go back round to the screen, and you can see when I press the shutter button at the top, when it's in focus it will flash green, and that is true for most models. Okay. In the next clip, we talk about aperture priority, which is a semi-automatic setting on your camera. And what it does is it controls the aperture, which lives, as I say, inside your lens. And I just wanted to show you what I meant by that before we start. So here is a lens, an old-fashioned lens, okay. And as you can see, there's quite a tiny hole of light in the middle, yeah. And as I turn the aperture dial at the back, which is manual, you can see the hole getting bigger and bigger. Now, the larger hole is generally used for portraiture, so they're measured in f-stops, so f2.8, f4, f5.6, etc. And then the smaller apertures are, as I say, for landscape, okay, and you can see the hole getting smaller there, so f11, f16, f22 on a traditional lens. And it makes a big difference to how your picture looks, not just because it cuts down the amount of light or increases the amount of light, but actually changes the appearance, the clarity within your image. So how it appears on your camera is in the top left. It will say AV or A for aperture, and the word aperture appearing at the bottom. And as you turn the dial on your camera, whatever your control dial is, you will be able to alter the aperture. So the wider apertures, lower apertures for shallow depth of field, okay, ideal for portraiture or limited light, and smaller apertures, as we're going to look at in this next clip, for landscape and getting more clarity in our photograph. Use aperture priority, AV on Canon and A on Nikon, to alter our depth of field, so what appears to be sharp in the camera and what doesn't. Okay, and what that does is it alters the aperture inside the lens. So when the aperture is wide open, which, you know, wide open apertures are f2.8, f3.5, f4, 5.6, that will mean that what you're focusing on is sharp, but what is going on in the background is less sharp, and it's generally used for portraiture, okay? The higher apertures are f8 and above, so f8, f11, f16, f22 are traditionally for landscape, okay, and that's because landscape photographers generally want what's in the foreground and what's in the background to be rendered as relatively sharp. Now, the thing is, the great thing about using aperture priority is, if you're not familiar with the manual functions, is that it will alter your shutter speed accordingly, okay? So you haven't got to think about that too much, particularly when you're on a tripod. Obviously, changing the shutter speed does alter the picture, but that's a whole other story. But for this particular thing, we are looking at aperture specifically. Okay. So what I'd like you to observe on the video and in your handout is how the alteration of aperture changes the appearance of the focus, specifically in the foreground too, in the actual detail around the frame itself. Can you spot the difference? In this image, I used a small aperture, f22, the camera positioned on a tripod, using aperture priority. In the next task, what I would like you to do is work as a team, so in a group, with some of your classmates. And what I want you to do is together produce something similar to what I've done here. I understand that it might be tricky to find some lighting stands, but try and improvise and come up with your own solution. As homework, I would like you to find out how to alter your ISO. When you alter your ISO, it will give you the ability to freeze movement and use a small aperture. So that's the second task really that I want you to do. Enjoy. I'm now going to edit the original file from earlier in Photoshop. So I'm going to image adjustments, levels, and I'm going to, on the histogram, slightly move my darker shadow areas and mid-tones to just give the image a little more punch. Okay that. I'm then going to select all, go to edit, transform and perspective. I'm going to the top left hand corner and pulling out to just slightly even up the image and bring the mirror forward. I'm then tapping my return button to OK that and deselect. And we're going to zoom in. Now, I didn't like the top of the lighting stands, so I'm selecting the marquee and highlighting that little area, and this is a bit of Photoshop magic. I pressed the delete bar and content aware fill comes up. OK that, and it'll take it out by reading the pixels around the area. I used a cloning tool to just clone a section of the frame and tidy that up. Same again, marquee tool, select nice and close to the edges of the top of the stand, tap my delete, content aware, make sure content aware is actually highlighted in that dialog box. Then back to the clone tool, select option on Mac, and there we go, just tidied that frame up a little bit. I now just wanted to kind of it's sharp, but I want, if you remember, it's shot on f/22, but I just wanted to sharpen it up a little more, so I'm duplicating the layer, so keep an eye on the layer box. Okay, and there you go, I've got 2 layers now. I'm going to filters, other, high pass, opening the high pass dialog box, and you'll see the image kind of rendered in grey. Once you move the slider up and down, it will pick up on the kind of the edges, okay, within the image, and tighten things up a bit. So I don't want to go crazy, I just want a subtle change. So I've chosen a 3. I opened the blending options and chose overlay. If we go into history, we can just have a little look at before and after. So that's before high pass. Let's enlarge that a bit. And that's post high pass. I hope you can see the difference. Now I'm going to save it, but I'm going to save it on my computer actually, but as a Photoshop file, so in case I want to come back into it, a PSD file in case I want to come back into it and change anything. Okay, so I want to keep my layers for the time being, so I'm just renaming the file, save, okay. Then I just want a working image, so I'm going back to, so I went to layers there, flatten image, right at the bottom. Then I'm going to go to save as, back on my computer. And where it says format, what do you want? How do you want to save it? I'm saving it as a JPEG, okay? And those 2 files will save separately because they've got different file extensions, even though the name is the same. Then I'm going to close Photoshop. I hope that was helpful.